Hello students, this video is for class 8 chapter 6, that is your conservation of your biodiversity. So first of all you have to understand that this chapter belongs to your biology section. So let's start this chapter. So starting on this chapter, we basically means like conservation of biodiversity. But first of all we need to understand what is the meaning of biodiversity and how it differs from an ecosystem. So if you are living in a particular region and if you consider either there can be living if you are considering the living components in a particular area, that is either they can be your plants or animals. So these plants and animals which are found basically in a specific given area, it constitutes the biodiversity. So the animals which are found in a particular area are called as you can say fauna, and the plant part they constitute to your flora. Now ecosystem basically includes as far as the biodiversity was talking about, your variety of life which is present in a particular area. Ecosystem includes all the factors, like all the bodies you can say, which might be, or all the components I mean to say, which might be living or non-living in nature. So like if I'm saying living, it includes both the plants and animals, and as far as non-living is concerned, it includes your air, water, soil, and etc, right? So we have divided in ecosystem into two parts, with either a component can be a biotic, something which is having life in it, or as abiotic, which is not having any sort of life in it. Now moving on to the next topic, that is we have forest. So we have all know what basically forest means, and as far as India is concerned, nearly 20% of our area is being covered by the forest, and forest being themselves are very crucial for their four or you can say three critical roles, right? That the roles can be either classified as protective or productive or regulatory. So as far as protective is concerned, we know that they help in cleaning our environment. They maintain the underground water level by absorbing the large amount of water. Then somehow they are able to protect the erosion, whether it might be caused by your rain or by your wind. Now as far as the productive nature, that is the second class of their use is being concerned, that is cleared by its name itself, like being used full for producing various stuff, right? We know that a lot of medicinal plants are there. Then we obtain wood for different furnitures or other kind of things and all. Then it being forest, the trees that we are cutting down are basically used for making furniture, that I've said, then for making paper and all, right? And there are several food items also that are being available from the forest, right? Now comes the regulatory part, that we have to understand they are able to maintain a balance between various factors, like they maintain the humidity in a particular area, like the transpiration rate maintains the level of water vapor in the atmosphere, okay, and able to get a proper rainfall. Then they regulate, or you can say maintain the balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide in the nature, and somehow they are responsible and they play a critical role in maintaining the air pollution and the global warming. So loss of biodiversity, if we are talking, that is basically the living component. The critical, or you can say the most important reason is the reforestation, that basically that is like for insatiable, you can say insatiable, never ending needs are there by of humans which can never be fulfilled, and for that reason the trees are being cut on a large scale. So this is called as deforestation, and there are multiple number of consequences that would be seen in the nearby future, but as of now there are three main. The first one is desertification. So what happens, like if you are cutting down the trees on a large scale, the soil loses its fertility cause of a decrease in the level of water absorption by the soil. So ultimately if it continues for a longer period of time, that results in desertification, means a you can say a defined area that was being covered by forest, and if the forests are being removed as part of deforestation, then we might see that area being converted into deserts and all. Global warming is something like that we have to understand. If there is an increase in the level of carbon dioxide and the trees are not there for the proper absorption, this might result in increasing the temperature, because carbon dioxide being present in our atmosphere results in trapping the sunlight, or you can see the heat of sunlight, and thereby increasing the overall average temperature of earth. Then the last one is like cause the in the deficiency of trees, when deforestation occurs on a massive scale, the soil loses its water retention capacity, or you can say basically the If rain occurs above a particular level, then we can see severe flash floods in a particular area. Now, moving on, the next topic is your wildlife. Wildlife basically means the variety of animals, different type of species of animals which are being found in a particular region. And if you are discussing about wildlife, that we can have a clear idea. The major threat to wildlife is the poaching, basically the hunting of animals, being done for different parts of their bodies. So common reason being is like rhinoceros are being killed for their horns, thorns and all, for making medicines. Then elephants are being killed for their tusk, used for making jewelry items and all. Then Indian pangolin is something that is being used extensively for making bulletproof jackets. So in the wildlife, there are species are basically classified into three categories. The first one being the extinct, and the extinct are the one that animals are not present in our environment and which used to live, but now they have disappeared due to various, you can say, environmental reasons, but the main reason being the human intervention in the ecosystem. For example, the dodo bird, which was being hunted down till they got over, or their count was lost in the Mauritius, Tasmanian wolf, and dinosaurs again being an example, which because of the natural reasons are not found. Then the endangered species are the one which are present in countable terms. You can say there are fixed number only which are present, and if the proper cares or measures are not taken, then they might become extinct in the nearby future. Now, the third species are basically endemic species, are the one which are found in a specific area. Means they were able to they are in a well-defined counting number, but they are specifically found into some restricted regions. Okay. Now, conservation of biodiversity basically means how we can conserve the variety of species of different plants or animals which are found in a forest, or you can say in a proper environment or in a given region. So what happened was, like, in the British during the British area, one law was passed, that was Indian Forest Act 1878, and that was for regulating this deforestation, which might result in the loss of biodiversity. So what government is doing, they are classifying the areas into several different regions, and in those regions certain specific rules are to be followed. So first ones are basically your national park. So around 104 national parks are being found in India, and these are the areas which are owned by the government, and in those areas animals are allowed to roam freely. And the famous ones nearby us are Jim Corbett National Park, Kaziranga National Park. Corbett National Park is for basically for tiger. Kaziranga is for single-horned rhinos, which are found exclusively in India. Then wildlife sanctuaries are the areas which are comparatively bigger to your national parks, and they are basically, you can say, a home to vulnerable or endangered species. Right? Again, hunting and poaching are not being allowed. And biospherical reserves are the biggest of these three areas, and it's like it might have they are such a big regions within themselves that national park or a wildlife sanctuary might be present within itself a biosphere reserve. So in India we have basically two biospherical reserves. So there is Sundarban Delta regions, then the Nanda Devi area. Okay, then there was a government scheme that started in the year 1973, basically for the conservation of its national animal, because they reduced to a very low count. So for maintaining their being the topmost consumer in the food chain, right? They're very critical for maintaining the balance in the ecosystem. So their counting was being done, hunting was banned completely, poachers were hunted down for reasons being killing on the tigers and all. Now comes the topic that is the last topic for this chapter, is your red data book. So basically there's an organization at the international level. The name for that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, and it is maintained a record in a book that is called as red data book. So the main purpose of this is to make a records of each and every variety of species which are found on the earth, right? So what has happened is, like, they have classified multiple number of species depending on their count only. Like, it starts from there are certain species which has not been studied, certain which are there which are in very very high counting numbers, which we should not be bothered about, certain which are endemic, certain which are vulnerable, that they might become endangered, and then they are critically endangered, means they are again present in very very few number, and then there is extinct in the wild, means they are only present in countable numbers, and then last one is the extinct in the zoo. So that's it from this chapter, guys. See you in the next video.